Welcome to Solar Notions. This is a podcast about solar operations excellence. I'm Colleen Sass, and this is episode 00 about the show. Now, there's a version of solar that looks great on paper, on LinkedIn. The plant is commissioned, the model is set, the ribbon is cut, and then real life starts. The weather pretty much doesn't care about your P50. The equipment ages. It's a fact. The team turns over, people change, people come and go. And most of the times, the contracts were written by people who've never spent a summer in the field. This show is about the gap, the 25 years between commissioning and the end of life that only few film, almost nobody celebrates, and everybody underestimates. When it's running well, you don't notice it. When it's not, hell breaks loose. This is Solar Notions, a podcast about solar operations excellence. What is this podcast about solar operations excellence? It's my way of giving back to the community access to people that are involved in those corners and the front lines of keeping solar plants running once they are commissioned, participating in commissioning, participating in revamping, in monitoring, or in doing research or in training. It's about everything that goes into the unglamorous work that happens for 25 years that we're only learning about right now. It's based on a framework called Fix, Run, and Automate. And it's going to follow pretty much that line. Now, just like solar, as it's something that it's still in its teenage years, same goes with the podcast. I want to take the time in this episode. It's a short intro to just take you through how it's going to be. And I'm going to start with the format. So the format covers 3 types of episodes. The first episode are the episodes with expert guests, 1 operational thread per episode. I call it Geek Out, because in practice, what we're going to do is we're going to spend around 90 minutes talking about how we view a certain part of operating solar plants. Then the second stream is a book companion. The Solar Operations Manual is a series of 3 books. Book 1 is written, book 2 and 3, I'm writing them right now. And each notion in those books, and there are 10 notions per book, was going to have a solo episode where I'm going to unpack the knowledge that didn't go into the book and that comes around it. Consider it like a companion, something to listen to on a drive. And then every now and then, in a opportunistic way, if there's a investigation or an event that is worth documented, I'll release a case study episode with lessons learned. All the episodes are going to be released every week on Tuesday at 6 a.m. CET. I will try to be consistent, and the episodes are public. Every episode is going to have a Q&A extension, which is only for premium members of the solar community. So when we're going to have a guest in the Solar Operations Excellence community, if you want to join, the link is always going to be in the description. You can ask questions, and with the guest, we're going to spend the last 30 minutes or 60 minutes, it depends, answering those questions. In order to see the answer to those questions, I invite you to join the community, and that's only open for premium members. Now, who am I? Who's this dude that is taking you on this journey on solar operations? Well, I'm one of the few that did my master's in renewable energy, and I specialized in solar. Although I graduated around 2018, I actually only joined solar in 2020 at the height of Corona. And for the past 6 years, I've been living in the gap between what a plant is supposed to deliver when it starts operating and what everyone expects around it. That gap and how challenging it is to fill that gap pushed me to build Solar Notions, the company that is behind the podcast, behind the community, and through which I do most of my activity. And we're committed to real solutions on how to set the right expectations, how to implement the best practices, and how to make sure that those best practices, that know goes back to the industry. That's why across these years in my roles in O&M and technical asset management, I also committed to improving the best practices. I was part of the Solar Power Europe team that rewrote the guidelines for O&M, for EPC, and end of life, because I wanted to make sure that the people coming after me bump their heads on new problems. I mean, it's inevitable to bump your head, but at least make sure that you do it on new things and figure out the next generation of problems. That's our mission, and that's what this show is part of. Now, what we are not going to cover per se is we're not going to speak about markets and we're going to deep dive into business. We're going to cover that markets, policy, investor decks. That's not what we're going to do. As much as we are supporting solar, we're not going to be cheerleading. We're going to go into the grueling reality, because this podcast is for everyone in solar, but it's especially for those operators, engineers, asset managers, people working for EPCs, transitioning into O&M, IPPs, investors, anyone that is tired of flashy business content that scratches the surface and want to go deeper. And of course, for the people on the front line who want to move from reactive, which is pretty much the entire O&M sector right now, to autonomous. Now, there's going to be kind of a season 1 here, which is going to start now, end of May, beginning of June 2026, and is going to run all the way through 2027. So I already have guests confirmed, people from the industry, practitioners, researchers, specialists that I respect. Some of them I consider my friends. And the first guest episode, the Geek Out, is going to come up in June. First series of episodes, they're going to focus on the fix part of a framework, because that's where most of us actually are. We're still at a stage where we need to fix our businesses, because the difference between the risks that we're faced with and our ability to face those risks is still a significant gap. So we're going to start with that. Now, Solar Notions already has a community called Solar Operations Excellence, is hosted on School, and that's the place where we can continue the chat about what was in the episodes. It is also the place where you can ask the questions for the upcoming episode, which we're going to answer in the Q&A for the premium members. However, I want you to know that the chat is completely free. You can join, ask questions. Link is going to be in the description. If you want to go deeper, then that's the premium tier where we have Q&A, office hours, and as I finish book 2 and book 3, they're going to be exclusively available over there. But start with the free community. Come, say hello. People are very friendly and willing to help. And it really shows how the professionals operating plants in O&M, in technical asset management, in investment, they're friendly and they want to contribute to uplifting us. Now, this is a podcast about the unglamorous work. The work that when it's fine, you don't notice. But when it's not done properly, all hell breaks loose. So let's begin.